what is your take in having interviewed Courtney? Do you think Courtney and Ralph were having this affair, or it sounds like you're kind of team Ralph and you don't think
I
he,
also interviewed Ralph like a year ago, believe it or not.
oh my God, I want to listen to that.
I
God, you
love a good house
interviewed
husband.
everybody.
I love a good
Okay.
house
Well,
husband.
well, you've talked to these people intimately. Tell us.
I mean, I don't think they're hooking up, but man, I'm for it. First of all, by the way, when Ralph is like in my top, I would say
Ralph's
five.
hot.
He's hot,
Yeah, he's hot. Yeah, hands down.
hot.
I agree. Super hot.
So I'm all for it. And I think Courtney's pretty. A lot of people don't love Courtney, because she came for Kenya, but I don't think anything's going on between them, but I'm here for it if there is. Um, Lisa and Lenny. And oh no, do you know what I want to talk about before Lisa and Lenny?
I go.
Here we go again. One of your favorite topics, Sarah.
Oh God, get me wound up. What?
Do we love her or has she lost her mind? This week with Miss Bethenny Frankel. We like say the same thing every time. Love her, classic,
I'm back
brilliant,
to
living
hating
to the
her.
beat of your own drummer,
Oh
or
God,
have you lost your fucking mind?
lost your mind. I hate her.
Really, talk to us about this story about the makeup and Carole Radziwill.
Well, it's hard because I'm blinded by Carole Radziwill. Carole to me is the Jenna Lyons. These women are sort of class acts beyond. I mean, I'm not, but they're sort of part of like this, New York society that's very next upper echelon, and of course Carole was a well-known ABC producer and journalist. That's where she met, her husband who passed away, who was a Kennedy. I mean, you're part of the Kennedy, dynasty, darling, which, is not really what it was, obviously. But when Carole met her husband years ago, it was a huge deal. And they were, of course, best friends with John Kennedy Jr. and Carolyn Bessette. And, it was just, anyway, I set the scene like that because Carole has, I think, a level of class and dignity and all the stuff that I think Bethenny just doesn't have, never will have, kind of wants to have. I agree with Carole. It's like Bethenny goes to TJ Maxx, brings all the makeup. And I think that was a very noble thing, right? Is like Bethenny does get thousands and thousands of dollars from every makeup company. And I bet I would love it. Like if Bethenny brought me a huge Ziploc bag of MAC products, I'd be like, oh, I'm obsessed, But the thing with Bethenny is it always has to be, it's always about Bethenny. There is no good deed that is just done. It's always filmed. It's always talked about. And Carole goes, oh, white savior complex. Here we go. She can't wait to film it and go in and how she needs all that praise. And then, of course, Bethenny comes back and goes, oh, and some people have labeled me white savior complex because they love using big woke words. And, if you do anything outside the box, you're labeled, racist or transphobe or this. Now this is where I always get caught with Bethenny because I'm like, I agree with that now. Like anything, if you do anything that the internet doesn't like, you're given a label of whatever, xenophobe, this phobe.
I'm racist because Nene Leakes is not, her time is over. I think she's a loudmouth. I don't like her. And I think her lawsuit is bullshit. So apparently I'm racist.
Oh,
and
great.
you're a transphobe,
if you question anything in a movement, you're labeled this and that, and you're this. So that's where I agree with Bethenny. But, I do think at the end of the day, and I mean, Carole just keeps going. Like Carole.
She clapped back.
She clapped back. Carole's like, oh, please. White savior complex is a word that's been around for 100 years, basically implying Bethenny's not very bright, which Carole said numerous times, way before Karen's, and it basically implies that this person comes in, can't wait to save, people that are beneath her. And, they obviously hate each other. And then, of course, Ebony came out this week, has done some interviews. Ebony K. Williams, your friend, and essentially has just said, I don't believe she's sincere. I just don't believe she's sincere. If she was sincere, I think she'd be doing a lot more behind the scenes and, bringing these stories of racism and misogyny and sexism and homophobia and all this stuff to light. She really isn't. I don't know. What do you
And
think about
Ebony
this?
also said, well, Ebony also said, like, I think this is a great cause, the reality
Yes,
reckoning, but
me too.
I feel the right person should lead this. And I'm not so sure Bethany is necessarily the right person to lead this, is pretty much what my friend Ebony K. Williams said. I do love Ebony. I will always love Ebony, period. Just that's what it is. I love her. I know her, think she's great. By the way, I mean, I know I just had Bethany's attorney, Mark Garagos, on, but that was, a week is a week. That was earlier this week. What is going on with the reality reckoning? Like, to me, every day is like hours. Like, look, we all go down a road in the entertainment business, right? Like, people have a new show, they promote it, they promote it, they promote it. It lasts one episode. You never hear about it again. They're on to something else. That is how this crazy business works, right? You're in the business. So if you're going to ask me about a show I was promoting 3 days ago, I'm over it just because Mark Garagos was just on and I love him, I would love him back. What is going on today with the reality reckoning? You haven't heard about it in like a week.
Well, maybe you can explain more of this because you just had Mark on who is representing Bethenny and this lawsuit. I mean, lawsuits take time, right? I mean,
They do. I know. They
litigation takes
do.
time. However, to your point, and I agree with Bethenny and Ebony. I mean, Bethany's right. I mean, there needs to be a reality TV show union, 100%. It just doesn't seem like, I mean, to this day, do we know anybody else that's really on Bethany's team? I guess aside from Rachel Leviss.
Mr.
Do
Garagos.
we know anyone? Tell us what Mark said.
Well, listen, Mr. Garagos is a lawyer. David from Behind the Velvet Rope had 30 minutes. That's it. So I started out by saying, I need like 4 hours of your time, first of all. Second of all, he had questions for me because, I mean, as a reality TV expert about, the whole first 10 minutes was all about me and like, how does this work? Look, he says, like, this isn't my area of expertise. Like, he represented Chris Brown and Winona Ryder, and he's criminal defense. So he said, like, maybe I could learn something from you from this. I'm like, man, we just wasted 10 of the 30 minutes talking about me. I don't want to fucking talk about me. So then he's also trying to get the Menendez brothers out of jail, which I find so interesting. I was like, I could talk to you. Right. I was like, I could talk to you about that. But everyone listening wants me to shut my fucking mouth and they only want to talk about Bethenny. So we got to get right to Bethenny. So I had to choose my questions wisely. I found a couple of questions very interesting. Like, talk to me because people think that these are disgruntled employees, right? You're fired, you're joining Bethenny's cause. It's clear Brandy might never be back. Kelly Dodd, she ain't never going back on Bravo. So all the people that are never going back on Bravo, I would think would want to go join Bethenny, right? Why not? Like, you have nothing to lose. Tell me, and he said, in no uncertain terms, there are people that are currently on Bravo that have called us. So I find that interesting.
All right. Well, maybe
he says.
Bethany is right.
So he says, but you know what it is to me? This undertaking, and then my also thing is like, talk to me about Andy Cohen. Like,